Not every business needs large spaces. It's not vital for all firms to work in a huge shopping centre. Often locations with particular parameters are important to companies. Such requests from retailers, laundromats, legal offices and banks prompt us to pay attention to a type of property that's attractive for the preservation and accumulation of capital. Purchasing small retail premises with established tenants is one interesting direction for an investor in Slovenia. And in small Slovenia, there are many small premises. Even in the tiniest town you can find promising options. But are they really as good as they seem? And what criteria should be used to select the most interesting? We offer such premises in towns with a population of more than 30,000. These premises are located on the ground floors in areas with pedestrian traffic and have an entrance from the street. The pool of tenants for such premises is quite large: banks, insurance companies, restaurants and cafes. So we consider towns of reasonable size and only ground floor premises with a separate entrance. We also must have a good idea who will then rent the premises and for what purpose. Each business has its own strict requirements. What suits a restaurant will not suit a doctor's surgery, and the investor is interested in a reliable partner who will pay regularly and not want to leave. Payback depends primarily on the quality of the tenant. A large bank, for instance, can be considered a good tenant. A bank is truly a sound, promising tenant. Here's a concrete example. We're on the outskirts of the capital of Slovenia. Property: ground floor premises in Ljubljana, rented by UniCredit Bank. Price €600,000. Area 240 square meters. Rent €42,000 a year. Estimated profitability 7%. This offer is in a new residential building with the ground floor reserved for commercial premises. It's in an advantageous location on the outskirts of the city. The tenant was ready to settle in for the long term, and so a buyer was quickly found. The premises were sold while negotiations between Century 21 Slovenia and UniCredit Bank were still underway. Profitability of the current premises 7%, under a 10-year lease agreement until 2026. We could show several similar offers. Banks are frequent and desirable tenants because they want a long-term relationship. The Slovenian economy is growing, so financial organisations are expanding their activities, and 7% net income before the payment of personal taxes is not bad at all. This is a very good figure for these types of premises, but there are other interesting examples with lower profitability. For example, premises where the tenant is a large Slovenian chain of pharmacies. The outskirts of Ljubljana, a shopping complex with some large retailers, but right now we are interested in smaller spaces. Property: premises in a large shopping centre, area 108 square meters. Price €250,000, rent €1,300 per month. Estimated profitability 6%. The tenant is Slovenia's largest company in medical and pharmacological services. The company signed an unlimited term lease without the right to cancel for the first 5 years. All the advantages for the tenant are obvious. This is a modern building with full amenities. There's a separate entrance from the street and a large free parking area nearby. One more important condition was also fulfilled. An anchor tenant is already in place. It's a large food store, and the pharmacy chain can be sure that their outlet will be in the public eye. These premises with a tenant are in a large shopping centre. That is what ensures the chain of pharmacies a constant flow of customers. Such an investment makes sense. It's a good place and a serious tenant with excellent chances of success, and one who will not leave suddenly. But the payback of a more reliable option is not as great. Firstly, geography plays a role. It's important to note that the prices and liquidity of real estate in the capital are higher, but the rate of return is lower. And secondly, as ever, the lower the risks, the lower the return. The lower payback is due to the terms of the lease. In this case, the tenant cannot terminate the contract until 5 years have passed. Thus, the owner has a guarantee, but his profitability is lower. The logic when buying small premises is the same as when investing in larger real estate, only here the list of potential tenants is different, and you can invest smaller amounts, from €200,000 upwards. The amount of investment and payback in such cases depends on several factors: the location of the premises, their floor area and condition. Of course, you must understand in advance who your tenant will be. It's best to have a long-term contract with a serious company. You will have to make certain compromise on profitability, but that is what makes an investment good: reliability. Yes, a large tenant usually pays a lower rental rate, but that is offset by a long-term lease, which means a reduction in risks. Small commercial premises in medium and large towns are another opportunity for an investor in Slovenia.